Good evening, rockers and metalheads. I'm Al Ditton. I'm with Underground Noise Webzine. I'd like to take this moment. Thank you to all of my subscribers. And if you're new to my channel, I encourage that you subscribe and that you share my channel and you share my videos. And if you don't want to comment, that's up to you. Anyway, this is Webisode number 78. Tonight, I've got the pleasure of interviewing Troy Bennett from the band called Faustian. As you can see, this is their EP or demo, whichever you want to call it. Troy, how you doing?
I'm good, buddy. Happy to take some time out and do some. I checked out your channel earlier. It's very cool. So I'm just happy to be here to answer any questions about the music, the scene, or anything in general. So just thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for sending this over. I
Of
had a blast
course.
with it.
Good, good.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
song
we
called Birth of Apparillions. That song to me stuck out as my favorite off of this so far.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so like Dallas wrote a lot of the riffs. Like Dallas definitely is like he is our meat and potatoes riff guy. So Dallas basically came to the table when we were working on this record with all these songs, and then we just kind of put them together. And Birth of Apparitions is definitely like probably my second favorite song. It's a good one. I actually am partial to the next track, Communion, with Shadows, just because it just kind of punches you in the face. But like I said, both songs are super fun to work with, and even Void Sight. All the tracks were a lot of fun, and we took our time putting this record together, and it paid off. We got, Black Lion picked us up, and we've had a lot of cool stuff happen. So we're getting hit up to do cool stuff like this. We did like a Gimme Radio show a couple weeks ago, so we're happy. We have a lot of good momentum, and we're just trying to stay busy. So and we appreciate everyone taking the time to listen to our music. So thank you.
Absolutely, man. How long you guys been together? Like, how did you guys meet?
Not long. So me and Dallas, it's funny though, like there's like a series of events. So everyone in the band currently are people that I've been playing music with forever. So AJ, who is our drummer now, he sorry, there's a cat. Come on, abuelo, calm down. So he actually didn't drum on the EP. That was our friend Max, and things just didn't work out. Like he really wasn't wanting to like he was kind of like I guess mellowing out of music. Like I don't really think he's doing anything musically anymore, but he did go out on a high note. Like he recorded those drums on the EP, which I think are fucking amazing. Um, but again, so for the current lineup, AJ, who is our current drummer, I've been playing music with for like 15 years. So me and AJ started playing in a band together back in 2007. We started this black metal band called Legions of Hoarfrost, and it disbanded in like 2014. And then me and AJ wanted to keep making music together, so then we formed that other band, Kavik. Um, and then, like I said, I actually started like a year after Kavik. Barguest was looking for a vocalist, so then I actually went and auditioned and started doing vocals in Bargus, which is how I started collaborating with Dallas. And then so like I've been collaborating with Dallas for about 8 years now and AJ for 15. So the the partnership's really strong, and I have very strong musical roots with these guys, which makes it really cool, and I think makes the music more personal and makes it more in tune, like everybody's in it to win it kind of thing. But yeah, so up to current day, we're actually about to go into the studio in a couple weeks to start working on a new single, and we don't know how we're going to release it yet. If we want to do it as a split, if we just want to self-release it as like a 7 inch. But then again, you know how hard it is with vinyl these days. You got like a 6 month wait time if you're getting anything pressed. But yeah, the music itself though just kind of happened. Me and Max and Dallas just got together. Dallas had a lot of these riffs from like a solo project he was doing too, and then he just brought him in, and I think he decided he wanted to go the full band route, so he brought these riffs in, and then we just kind of put this EP together. And like I said, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to make this record. I challenged myself vocally. I tried to tell a story lyrically too, with the songs, how they kind of flow into each other. There's like a little interweaving story in the 3 tracks, and even the intro is cool. Dallas actually wrote the intro because it's kind of like, it's meant to create tension, and then like you have all that tension, and then bam, Birth of Apparitions just punches you in the face. So
That's right.
yeah, sorry, I talk a lot.
That's
But
quite all right, man.
I hope that's a good introduction to us as a band, I guess.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, I really had a blast listening to this like 10 times. And
Awesome.
Birth of Apparitions, like I said, that song just blew my mind. I said to myself, it sounds a little bit like early Deicide, early Cannibal Corpse, and kind of like Vital Remains in a way.
That's awesome. I know
But
Dallas is gonna watch this. I know that's gonna make him very happy
yeah,
to hear those comparisons.
I was about to ask you what bands helped shape your sound? Like what bands influence you guys?
Man, honestly, Dallas probably I know Dallas is a big fan of like Cryptopsy. So I would say a lot, because I listen to like weird black metal and like Yellow Eyes, but I mean I guess we're like a black and death metal band. I think that's what we've been dubbed by the internet, which makes sense because it does have those elements. But like for me, it's just all kind of stuff. Like I started out in high school, like listening to like Moonspell and like My Dying Bride. Like honestly, the records that really like shaped me or got me into this genre was like Irreligious and like Wolfheart, and then like My Dying Bride, like with Turn Loose the Swans. It was really because it's really more doom metal, and I was always more like I loved black metal, like in terms of that, like Emperor, Anthems to the Welkin at Dusk is probably my favorite like record in any extreme genre ever. And like I got to see them. I went to Norway a couple years ago and actually got to see them perform that record at Inferno Fest, and it was incredible. So yeah, in terms of that, like I I'd say for me a lot of old school black metal, a lot of like Emperor, a lot of Emperor, mostly Emperor. Even some of the symphonic stuff I like Dimmu Borgir. But in terms of like the death metal, I've been listening to a lot of newer bands like Mortiferum. I'm a big fan of them. They have a really cool sound. I actually just started listening to a record today, like probably like 30 minutes before I hopped on this Zoom with you, by this band from Seattle called Reburied. And I think it's Chris Pinto from Forn, who's like another really cool like doom band, I think on Gilead Media. And I think it's some of the guys from too, I think, which is another cool kind of like funeral doom band from Seattle. But yeah, all kinds of stuff. Everything, like everybody, it's cliche to say, but you know how it is. Like I listen to less heavy music these days and more like post rock and post punk. But I don't know if it's because I'm getting older. I'm getting more calm. Like I still love writing death metal and I love creating death metal, and because the world sucks, and like you have to like express that forlorn aggression somehow.
Yeah,
But
that's right. Someone's
I'm
got
still
to.
I'm trying to keep up with a lot of the like some of the newer death metal bands, like even some of the guys kind of blowing up right now, like I really like Undeath. They have some really cool stuff.
That's
um
pretty damn good. I like
yeah,
Skeletor Remains a lot. Skeletor
oh
Remains
yeah,
blows my mind.
we're playing with them in March. We just
I
happen to
seen
hop
that.
on. We happen to hop. We get So we got invited to play that show. The guy that booked that show actually is in a really sick New Orleans death metal band that you should check out if you get the time. You may have already heard them, but they're called Congealed Putrescence,
Don't know the
and
name.
they are sick. If you get a couple minutes, very short releases. Like I think both their EPs are like under 10 minutes a piece. nice bite-sized music, but I mean, hits the spot. Like the tracks are incredible. So if you get a chance, check them out. Like I said, I wish I should have gotten like some answers from Dallas. Dallas is he's a super busy dude, and AJ too. That's why, because they wanted to do it too, but they're, you know how it is. Trying to get three guys, three middle-aged men in a room is hard work.
Yeah, yeah, that
They wanted me to say thank you as well for the opportunity. So
well, horns up to
yeah,
AJ in Dallas, and of course to you, Troy. 'Cause you
really
guys are
appreciate it.
rocking it out, man.
Like I said, it means a lot. I'm glad. I'm
Is
glad.
this your guys' first release?
It is. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
I
this is
figured it
our
was.
yeah.
'Cause like I said, I was really blown away by the whole thing, and I was gonna do a review on it and totally spaced out and forgot, but I'll give you guys 5 horns,
Awesome.
and I'll give you the 3 S's that I go by: short, sick, and straight to the point.
Awesome.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
we tried to organize it that way, and we are like working on a full length right now. And like I said, we're working on some stuff this year, at least a single, maybe something else. We're trying to stay prolific. You know, it's like you want to stay busy because you want to stay like on people's minds, you know, like, so you have to stay current. It's like you have to be proactive, you have to stay playing shows. So we're trying to be as busy as possible without like wearing ourselves out, because like I said, we're all career dudes too. We're all like pushing 40, and we're all like 9 to 5 guys, but all of us are like, this is what we love, you know, it's a labor of love. So we're
Absolutely.
busy. We're in the studio, like I said, in a couple weeks working on new music, and then we just got art for some new stuff, and trying to book some shows, doing I think like a short tour in May. So yeah.
That's awesome. That was gonna be my next question. I'm sure you guys are looking forward to that show with Skeletal Remains.
Oh, absolutely.
Is
Absolutely.
Immolation at that show with you guys too, or?
No, I think this is it's probably it's like an off show.
Yeah,
So
that's what I read.
yeah, yeah, it's like I think this one is Skeletal Remains and Crypta, and
Okay, I know who
then
they are.
yeah, yeah, and then we're playing with our friends in Morbid Torment. And they're awesome
Awesome.
too. Morbid Torment's like black and thrash, and they're like another local kind of like New Orleans staple. Like Renee's been in a ton of sick bands in New Orleans throughout the years, and I think Morbid Torment is like his latest project, because he's been in other bands like Six Pack and like Demonic Destruction, and but yeah, I know Morbid. I think Morbid Torment played actually Mass Destruction, like I think 2019, like the year before the world took a shit.
That's funny
So
because that's when Mountain Dew came out with their Voodoo soda, the
yeah.
mystery flavor. And
Yeah.
I'm always drinking on Mountain Dew, and I tease the hell out of the people at home.
Oh man. See, I'm also, so I'm a soda aficionado, because like I quit drinking a couple years ago. So like I have replaced my alcohol with soda and sugar and and food. So it's like every time I see like a new Mountain Dew, I'm like, I'm gonna try that out. I bet it's good. And
Well,
most of the time they're good. Not all the time, but most of
yeah,
the
it's the
time.
zero sugar ones you gotta watch out for.
Yeah.
Aspirin.
What is it? The aspartame give you Alzheimer's and shit? Like, isn't that
Yeah,
like
it can cause holes in the brain if you consume
jeez.
too much of it.
Oh, but yeah, you'll look great. You'll look good with no memory of your childhood or your youth, but you'll be skinny.
I'll tell you something though, man. I remember everything like it was yesterday. I got the memory of an elephant, so that's even more funny than I could imagine. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
absolutely.
But
Like
I've been telling my friends Mountain Dew has more flavors than condoms and lollipops combined.
it's true, dude. And like I
It's
feel like they
weird.
come out with a new flavor like every week.
I mean, where
Every
do they
week
get
I
these?
swear I'm grocery shopping and I'm like, I've never seen that flavor of Mountain Dew before. What the fuck is that? Is that a
It's it's funny. I think what are they going to come out with next? Mountain Dew flavored
yeah,
condoms. I
yeah,
hope
dude.
not.
There's a guy like in Mountain Dew's marketing room that's just like taking words and just putting them together on a piece of paper. Like, all right, fuck it, market it, go. That's our
Yep.
new Dew flavor.
Yeah, some people combine their Mountain Dews together, and I've done it before myself. I've taken like Mary Mashup and I've mixed it with like Frostbite, and it just doesn't taste the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You
This is a
can't it's
totally
not yeah,
different.
you can't mix your own Mountain Dew cocktail. Like you kind of have to you got to go with like they've got their magic worked out, you know.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not even sponsored or endorsed by Pepsi products, but Mountain Dew, get off your lazy ass.
Give yourself
Support me.
time. Yeah, you'll get there. That's I
Yeah,
think
that's funny.
that's the end goal. We all got to get endorsed. It's all about the endorsements. And yeah, and you know what it is? You got to get to those 1,000 subscribers. It's all about monetization, right?
Yep.
That's the thing these days. Which I get. That's what I was telling. It's the part of me that I love and respect about music, but it's also kind of like, oh, it's kind of hard because it's like you have to work so much harder these days to like I was saying earlier to like stay relevant. Like none of us, at least none of like my guys like me or Dallas or AJ, like none of us ever expect to make a living off of music. And we love it. It's a labor of love. It's something we'll never stop doing. But it's sometimes disheartening because it's like it's like kind of like you miss the boat kind of thing, like those days are and they're not necessarily over with. Like I've me and AJ had this conversation actually on one of our last tours because I'm very jaded with like Spotify and a lot of the streaming services, and only because I know how hard artists work to put out their music, and I know it's not even Spotify's fault because they still do like a lot of cool stuff. Like they have algorithms
Yeah.
that like introduce you to new bands, so it's like there's all this cool stuff, but it's just like personally from my perspective I'm just like, man, it's hard to be a musician today,
Yeah, I was
but
about
it is
to
what it
ask you,
is, you know.
do you
You don't
think
do
the
it.
death metal scene has gotten stronger over the years, or do you think it was better back then when it first
No, I mean,
started?
I think people are working harder. So I think in that regard, I do think it's better. I think there are a lot of bands coming out now with like really fresh ideas. So like I'm definitely not going to take like the fuddy-duddy approach of like music was better back then cuz like I really do think people are working harder. They're grinding a lot harder and they're really like people like I said, there's a lot of bands even popping up in New Orleans, which New Orleans was like sludge city. So you had like a bunch of sludge bands. And again, nothing against sludge, nothing against doom metal, but it's really cool. There's a lot of bands coming up now in New Orleans that are like sick black metal bands like Mahinit or like I said, like Congealed Putrescence, like really are like Brat. They're doing a lot of big stuff right now and they've just kind of popped up over the past year or two, but they're really working hard. The bands that are coming out now are working hard as fuck. And I
Yeah.
think it's showing and they're working really hard to get their name out there and most of the people are really busting their ass. So I'd say it's on par like cuz obviously I'm sure the old school they were busting their ass too. So I think everyone's busting their ass to an equal measure. I just think it's a little harder to get that mainstream recognition today versus, whatever 20 or 30 years ago.
For a new listener, how would you describe your music to them?
Definitely like black and death metal for sure. Like just aggressive, feral, uh kind of grimy, but to the point, short and to the point. We actually purposefully wrote shorter songs just to kind of like just make something quick, aggressive and to the point.
What song do you, what song would you say is the biggest crowd pleaser?
Our new one that actually isn't on the EP, but it's the one we're about to go record. It's Seeping Mausoleum. So that's going to be on our single. It was funny. We were watching a YouTube video. Someone recorded us at our last show in New Orleans, and people were going nuts to that fucking song, like screaming and like just people were really getting down. But I think it's because it moves and changes a lot. Like it goes through a lot of different movements. It kind of has like thrash sections and then death metal sections, and then it has like some really weird abrupt time changes. So it's kind of all over the place, and I don't know if people like it because of that, but it's just weird enough for us to like it. So
So a little experimental in there, huh?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
just different, just because we don't want to like. It's so hard to even be different because it's hard to do something new because it really does feel like everything's already been done. So you try to make stuff as interesting as you can, or try to like at the very least like like this is like Faustian DNA. Like you can tell like maybe this sounds like them. It's kind of like when you hear a certain band, like whether it's their tone or like even the sound of their kick drums or like their like the tuning. There's kind of like something that sets them apart. So we're trying to do something like we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, but just kind of like make something that is uniquely us.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you listen to Morbid Angel and you listen to that guitar tone, you can definitely know that's
Yeah,
Morbid Angel.
like
You
you
know
know
that's straight as
exactly what you're getting into. Yeah. So that's what we're trying to do. Like I said, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're just trying to like play music in the style that we like while also making it our own kind of thing.
well, trust and believe me, you guys are kicking ass. Keep up
Awesome.
the excellent work, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Really
you're
appreciate it.
welcome. Got my support all the way.
Like I
Who came
said,
up with
once
the
we get that.
concept art? I mean, who came up with the artwork for this? Like,
Oh, so that is total Dallas found that. So that is what's the
yeah,
word I'm looking for where it's
I looked
outside
at
of.
it and I'm like, did somebody paint this for these guys? Or
Oh, we totally so it was definitely something we used that was what's the word I'm looking for? It's outside of copyright. So it was like 100+ year old painting, public domain. That's the word I was looking for. Thank you. It was like
all good.
so Dallas and we like I said, we actually just paid an artist to get some shirts. We're paying another artist. We were kind of rushing and we didn't have any money at the time. We were all really broke. So we went the public domain route. We actually hired a really cool artist who did our logo, but we're like, we can't just have a CD with like a logo and just like, like I was like, so what do we do? So Dallas actually sent me I think he had a Dropbox with a bunch of folders of just like a bunch of public domain art. And so I was like, all right, what will suit what we're talking about? And then we saw that picture. I was like, that's the one. That's the one right there.
Yeah, I was really surprised by it because I look at it and it kind of reminds me of like a Grim Reaper riding a horse.
Yeah, yeah. It's from a disaster triptych. Pretty sure it's a Polish artist. Let me look it up real quick. Because
Nice.
I'm on my computer.
Cool. I'm not
Yeah. So it is, yeah, because actually we
yeah, this
sent
was
the information
really
to our
interesting.
label. It was Adam Chiomowski from his the piece was called Death and Conflagration from the Disaster Triptych. So it was like part, I think, of a bigger painting. And we just liked it. I liked how if you look at it real close, like the face is kind of obscured, like it
Yeah,
kind of suited like the birth of like the apparition idea, like kind of like the idea of like being transformed from like a person to like an otherworldly being. So like everything I think really like the artwork suited the music, I think appropriately.
oh, absolutely, man. It's kind of like a skeleton too, a little bit. If
Yeah.
you look at the face, it looks like a skull a little bit, you know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know if anybody can see that out there, but it's there, I swear.
Yeah. And I love the I really like the colors. Like I like that they were kind of like darker colors.
Yeah,
Like
it
there
brings
was there
out
was some
expression.
color in there, but it was kind of like I said, it suited the music. It was kind of grimy. It was kind of obscured. Like it wasn't like some pristine Renaissance painting. Like there was like some grit to it.
Yeah, it's
So
in depth, man. It's
yeah,
got
it's
a
something
lot
we
of,
like me and Dallas
presence to
saw
it.
it and we're like, this is it. This is what we're gonna use for the artwork. Like this is perfect.
Yeah, it
So
just
yeah,
hit me in the face when I got it in the mail, and I was just like, "Oh, excuse me."
yeah.
Burped. But anyway,
It's a mount. See, that's why you got to get that Mountain Dew sponsorship.
I'm telling you, man, Mountain Dew, it'll tickle your innards. Yeah, dude, I was going to ask you about your local music scene. You guys got a lot of bands there in Louisiana, if I'm not mistaken.
It's growing.
Corrosion to Conformity, aren't they from Louisiana?
Crowbar, I Hate God, Goat Whore, some of the bigger ones, Soylent Green.
I remember Soylent Green. I was wondering about Corrosion to Conformity. Aren't they from there?
I
Are
think
they from
so.
Texas?
I know they're kind of split up. I know Pepper Keenan lives in New Orleans. I don't know if he's lived in New Orleans his whole life. I feel like he probably has. But yeah, I mean, in terms of like, there's like a rich Louisiana has a really good culture of music. Like going back to, like I said, you've got Soylent Green, you've got Goat Whore, you've got Crowbar, and like I
Crowbar
said,
still kicks ass.
yeah, Exhorter. Kyle Thomas is one of the nicest people on planet Earth. So you've got big, and like I said, you've got a lot of bands that are coming up now that are continuing the tradition. Like most of the people I talk to, I feel like the music scene has gotten way less cutthroat, which is cool. Like people are working together a lot more now than they were like even like when I first started playing music in like the late 2000s, where it was like very competitive and everybody was trying to be like the best band instead of just like being their own band. So I think the scene here is thriving. I think there's a lot of camaraderie. Like I said, there's way less competition between bands. And then people aren't afraid to like out shitty people like racists or like bigots or like creeps. So uh I think there's a lot more decency in the music scene maybe now than there was back then. And again, that's just my perspective. Not saying there wasn't decency back then, but I feel like people are way more apt to take things on instead of just like, oh, that just happens. It's just the way it is kind of shit. Like, so I think it's cool. And I think that's a part of the reason that it is growing the way that it's growing.
That's awesome.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Troy, I've only
Because
got a few minutes left here with you tonight. Got a few more questions real quick.
yeah, bud, I'm sorry. I talk a lot, so I
Hey, that's
apologize.
okay. It's okay.
Eating up our Zoom meeting time.
Yeah, when it goes, I'll upgrade to premium and then I'll just have all
Too
the time in
expensive,
the world.
man. I'm telling you. Yeah, you gotta, yeah. But anyway, I'll let you go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Do you have any words for your fans? Anything you would like to say to them?
It's weird, fans. It's strange to think that we have people like our music because I'm such a, I'm so it's weird. It's very humbling. But to the people that like our music, to our fans, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting our music. Support your scene around you because it's up to all of us to kind of keep this thing going. So just thank you. Thank you for listening and thank you for supporting. And it means a lot to us. Thank you.
Very awesome. My last question for you, Troy. Do you have any last words for Underground Noise Webzine?
Just probably piggybacking off of the last thing. Thank you, Alex. Everyone listening, please like and subscribe to this man's channel. It's very sick. He's doing the music scene a favor. All these things are important. All of these aspects of music are important, from the zines to the interviews to the merchandise to the art to everything. So thank you, Alex. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And just, yeah, thanks for everything.
You're welcome, Troy. Everybody keep your horns up, most importantly. Coming up next week, there will be 3 interviews and possibly 5 reviews on bands that you guys never knew existed. However, I haven't gotten around to it this week yet. So next week, stay tuned, folks. Until next time, keep your horns up.